Hi, Michael. Are you there?
Hi,
Hi, Michael. How are you?
I'm doing fine. You know what? I just left the house and I walked down to the beach, and I didn't look at my calendar to see that I was on the air tonight. I remember the show, and I'm here, and I'm
Okay.
ready, but I got to
Yeah.
get off of the beach to get away from this wind.
No, I got it. I live down at the beach too, and so you're on the beach walking, right?
No, I was sitting right by the
Oh,
ocean.
you
The
were
water is
sitting.
so warm. I'm in South
Yeah.
Florida, down in Hollywood.
Oh, we were just talking about Florida, and in fact, because I live down at the East Coast. I mean, I live down at the West Coast on the beach in San Diego. So I was just talking about you guys have, from what I understand, you've had a overrun of huge snails. Is that right?
Well, I haven't seen any up here, but I read about it online. That they were like the size of rats. You know,
Yeah, and
uh,
it's not. I
you,
mean, are they for
I,
escargot?
I would think there wouldn't be much danger of being eaten by them since they don't move very fast.
That's
But
okay.
it reminds me of the Blob, the old movie from the
Yeah,
50s.
I kind of thought or it's some type of warfare with those snails. I don't know what to think of that, but that in California we have it made. We don't have all those big bug things going on. We have warm weather, but we don't have those bugs going on here. Thank goodness.
It's
Well,
another government plot.
it's another plot. Well, you've worked. I was talking. I know that we were having a time getting you a little bit, but here you are. But I was just about to go through it that you. Uh, became how this I was going to ask you something else, but I thought I might as well just go into this, that you became aware, since you've been in 1985 while working in you're in the aerospace industry, correct?
Right. I left teaching because I wasn't making any money and
Right.
said, where can I make some money? And at the time, it was aerospace. So I
and
went there.
and,
My
and so
two
was
office
that when
mates quit.
okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so go on, Michael. I'm sorry, don't let me interrupt you.
Oh,
Ignore me.
my two office mates quit. Young woman came in. We started talking. She said she was seeing a numerologist. I asked her what it was. She said, well, this guy takes the letters of your name, the numbers of your birthday, tells you all about yourself. I said, yeah, right. But 2 weeks later, I was really stressed out. And so I said, okay, give me his name and number. And she did. And he blew my socks off. And I apprenticed to him for 8 years. And then I left because I was getting to a point where I was doing things that he said numerologists don't do. The things I was doing with numbers and the
So
information I was getting from it. So I left them. And that was probably about 1994. And since then, I really describe myself as a number disguised as a human being because I get amazing information out of numbers. Somebody can pick a category. They can pick health, finances, relationships, family, work. Really doesn't make a difference what they pick. And then if they give me the first three single-digit numbers that come into their head, I can tell them what's going on in their life. That's what the numbers
oh,
can do because they measure the vibrational frequencies of thoughts and feelings and emotions. So
okay.
I could do that.
Okay, well, Michael,
A
let me
pre
ask you something. You just said something interesting. If I heard you correct, for what I just heard, what my understanding was that what you just said was somebody could just get numbers or something that are coming into their heads, not that has to do anything to do with. This is what probably what you're. I was going to ask you actually before we were just talking. I was going to ask you, and here I'm going to ask you, what is cosmic numerology?
Okay, everything in the cosmos vibrates. If it vibrates, it can be measured with numerology, which uses letters and numbers, which are the same symbols that we use to measure things. So cosmic numerology is 4 pieces. The first is classical numerology, is developed by Pythagoras here in the West. The second piece is the quantum theory, which deals with potential, what could be, what might be. And in spirituality and religion, that's referred to as free will, not potential. And in numerology, every number has a challenge. Every challenge has a solution chosen by you at the soul level. That's a story I can tell. It takes about 7 minutes. And the third piece is gematria, which is an ancient Kabbalistic art where you take words, passages, phrases, you turn them into a string of numbers, and those numbers will then tell you what's going on. And I've just shortened that down to give me a category and the first 3 numbers you're thinking of, and I can tell you what's going on in your life. The last piece deals with reincarnation, in that if you imagine the yin-yang symbol in between lifetimes, we do this review with God, with spirit, and with the yin-yang. We're balanced between our celestial and earthly self, ego and soul. And in that state, having looked at what we've accomplished or avoided or screwed up, and knowing that we're coming to a new age, a new 26,000-year cycle, a new turn around the wheel, we then pick the letters of a name to help us work through that which we haven't worked through in the last 26,000 years. We're trying to clean everything up. So for a lot of people, this can be a very intense life if they don't understand that they've already provided a solution for everything. First name is how we behave at work. Middle name is relationship. If you have no middle name, then you've come to learn to deal with your emotions. So whether you're Albanian or Thai or Latino, these are cultures with no middle names. And the people can either be very intense or very flat, very, very inward, like an Asian. And that's a gross generalization, by the way. And that doesn't apply across the board. And they've come to learn to deal with their emotions. The vowels, that's what your soul wants. The consonants, that's your personality. The total of your month, day, and year of birth is your destiny. It's what you're destined to do, but it's not a given. And if you add that number to the total of your name, you get your passion, your life calling. Letters that you omit from your name represent your karma, which is neither good nor bad. It's just unfinished business. You know, we go through, we have an option of going through 4 phases of growth. Phase 1, we do unto others: murder, pillage, plunder, genocide, rape, lie, steal, betray, abandon, whatever. We do anything we want, and there's no recriminations, none whatsoever. But we need to have a lot of people in our movies. Phase 2, well, okay, now I got to be in their movie. I have to be murdered, killed, betrayed, lied to, abandoned, cheated, whatever. Then we go to phase 3, where you either seek revenge against the person who did unto you in phase 2, or you go back to phase 1 and start doing unto others, which traps you in the karmic circle, or you move to phase 4. At phase 4, you're doing this self-analysis. You've said, okay, I did to them, they did to me, we're even. Let me go figure out why I'm here, what I'm supposed to be doing. And one of the things, and I've written an exercise to help people work through this, one of the things that you discover is throughout your life, just when everything was going great, you would get sabotaged. And the first thing, we all look up to the sky and we blame God, we blame Spirit. I did what you want. I made the sacrifices. What's going on here? What's the story? How come you're not supporting me? It has nothing to do with God or the universe. It's the ego, which is fearful of being abandoned, that sabotages the soul that just wants to reconnect with Source. And so in this exercise, your essence, which is eternal, takes your soul from the body, takes the ego out of the body, and facilitates a dialogue between these two, and let them have a crab session. You know, ego, why do you sabotage the soul? I don't get any respect. Doesn't give me any credit for anything. Says, slow it down. You know, doesn't appreciate what I do. And you talk to the soul about the same thing, and the soul says, oh, God, you know, what do I need this body for? Everything is easy. I can think it, and it happens. I could say it, and it's done. What's the story here? Well, eventually, the essence helps them both realize that neither can do anything without the other. The soul is not going to accomplish its celestial mission without a physical body,
And the physical body really can't experience joy and happiness without a soul. And so you do this exercise each time. You get depressed, you get down, you feel you're not being supported, and you reintegrate yourself. And remember who you actually are, and that it is a team, and that you did pick your name and your birthday and your birth family together. Should I keep talking?
Yes, it's very fascinating because this is about the reincarnation along with the numbers is what is the difference of the another numerologist.
Yes. Yes.
Correct? Okay.
That's the big piece. Because what happens is after we do this review between lifetimes, with the yin-yang, we are perfectly balanced. So we pick the name, we pick the birthday, we pick the birth family. The last thing we do is make sure we got enough grace to pull this off, and then we drift towards that veil that separates the heavens and the earth. And the moment we touch that veil, the celestial soul self is stunned. It would be the same as if you put your finger in a light socket. You get thrown across the room, knocked against a wall, you're stunned. I mean, the electromagnetic fields here are so much different, heavier, more dense than they are in the celestial realm. And so here we are, we're still connected, but we're not in harmony anymore. And as we come down, the ego wakes up, looks around. Everything is dark. Why is it dark? Where is everybody? Why am I alone? Am I the only one? Did I do something wrong? Doesn't anybody love me? Have I been left behind? Have I been abandoned? And so this is where the origin begins, this cosmic abandonment issue. And then just before the soul regains its senses and we come here totally in harmony and full of knowledge, just before it happens, we're born. And the first thing they generally do is cut the umbilical cord, at which point the ego says, hold it right there, buckos. I don't think we're doing this abandonment thing again. No, not being cut off from source. Happened once, not going to happen twice. And so universally, all human beings develop two basic behavior patterns. At one end of the behavior spectrum is control, doing for or not doing for others, but not allowing anybody to do for you. They're not reliable, they're not trustworthy, they're not smart enough, they're not efficient, they're not fast, whatever it is. We don't trust them. And then we get angry that nobody ever does for us, but we don't let them. At the other end of the behavior spectrum is codependency. You have three groups. You have clingers, fearful of being alone. They remain in either unsatisfactory relationships or jobs. Enablers, people that do things they really don't want to do to make somebody happy so they won't be abandoned. And doers, people that make themselves indispensable so no one can live without them. Like water in a tube, we slosh back and forth between these 2 points, sometimes hitting that sweet spot of doing what we love. But that's where we want to be all the time. So how do we get to this place of doing what we love all the time? Well, it's like if you go to the gym and you want to get in shape, you hire a trainer. So if you want to do what you love, you hire a trainer. These are, I refer to them as the employees, all the people in your life that push your buttons: embarrassment, humiliation, betrayal, lying, frustrating, they make you angry, they belittle you, humiliate you. And you pay these people time and a half to do this to you during a weekend, and you pay triple time with your family and your intimate relationships because they really know where your buttons are. Well, you can recognize an employee because they either make your blood pressure go up or you feel something in that gut, that second, third chakra area. Well, regardless of what you feel, when you feel it, you need to mentally get it into your head and take one step to the side and say, oh, one of my employees have just shown up. What did I ask them to teach me? And by mentally taking that step to the side, you're no longer in that reactive place of doing something to be loved or maintaining control or having to be right. You're in that place of objectively looking at the situation and seeing it as a growth opportunity. It's about perspective. It's just changing your movie. Changing your movie. And we create our own reality anyway. So why not make this movie that you can do what you love, not to be loved, or to maintain control. So the other piece that goes with this to help you have that courage is I ask my clients, is there anything in the universe exactly like you, with your DNA, with your cellular structure, with your chemical composition? And invariably they all say, well, no, there isn't. And I say, well, that means you're one of a kind, doesn't it? Yeah. So whatever you're doing, whether you're putting polish on your nails, cooking breakfast, or whatever you do for a living, each moment you're engaged in that activity. If you're doing the best you can, aren't you the best in the universe at what you do? That's another movie. I'm doing the best I can. And now my employees show up and tell me I suck. It's not going to work. I'm too stupid. It'll never happen. If you love me, you wouldn't do it. If you love me, you would do it. These are the employees. That's how we recognize them. And then we go, I'm the best in the universe at what I do. I'm going to do what I love. And once you get there, your life challenges, your karma, all the blockages, they all leave. Now, the difficulty in getting to this place is even the best of us only has about 98% faith in ourselves, 10,000% faith in the universe or God, but only about 98% faith in ourselves. It's that missing 2% that make us procrastinate or go after that dream or pursue a job or leave a career or write the book or whatever it is that we want to do with our life that's going to make us happy. Because we don't want to be alone. People will say, well, if you love me, you would stay. If you love me, you wouldn't do that. And so it makes it really, really hard for people because it's hard to do what you love initially, but once you get there, you don't want to do anything else but what you love because it keeps you young. It keeps you healthy. It keeps you stress-free. And you're doing exactly what you came here to do. And in the process, you shorten the time that you need to finish things off and returning lives. And consciously, or at that cosmic level, that's what we chose when we came here. We want to get it together in this lifetime so we can move into this new age as clean as possible. Or we've been here for 3 or 4 million years. We're ready to go home. We need to finish it up. You don't finish it up. You don't eat your vegetables. You can't have dessert.
I agree with that. And Michael, it's fascinating. It's fascinating the way, because, I've had a numerologist on before, which is the classic, I guess you'd call it classic.
Right.
The regular.
Just doing the numbers.
Exactly.
The numbers.
But this is way beyond that.
Yes, it is. It really is. And it's absolutely amazing. And I am always stunned. I told you earlier, I live on the beach. There's a little tiki hut, and they have music. And sometimes I go over there and just play with the guests. I'll take the first vowel, first consonant of their name. I'll take their month and day of birth. And then I just wow them. And their jaws drop. Or they go, that's really scary. How did you know that? And that's in the book. There's a book I've written, several, but one is called Numerology for Decoding Behavior. You do not need to know any numerology to use the book, but you do have to know how to add and subtract. 3 plus 2, well, that's 5. 3 minus 2, well, that's 1. So this person is a 5/1, and you look up the answer in the book, and there it is. Somebody's month and day of birth from January 1 to December 31. Add those numbers together, reduce it to a single digit, look the answer up in the book. You've got their core issue and potentially their greatest strength.
Wow. So somebody that does not know anything about the physics or whatever, everything that goes on with this could actually buy your book and be able to definitely clearly have clarity on what you're talking about and what you have been talking about, being able to get, because you'll get as long as you can subtract, add, it's pretty, this is fascinating to me, Michael, because I've not ever, not that I, am all that and then some, but I have never heard of anything like this. Are you about the only person that you know of that does
Yeah.
this?
Yeah, I've
Okay.
come across lots of numerologists and lots of people who do numbers, and they bring in astrology with it, and they bring other things in it. But for me, it's my affinity. I am a number, and I'm disguised as a human being. When I do my readings for people, my analyses, the numbers kind of snap into patterns, and then pictures come, and the words come out of my mouth. I kind of channel the numbers, and I am the best in the universe at what I do.
I like that. Is that what?
Because I do the best I can every time.
Right. So, well, Michael, can you give us, for the people that are listening out there, I don't know if they're grasping of this as well, but at the very beginning, I asked you, you said something, and I started saying, my understanding was, from what I heard you say, you asked people what numbers are around you, or that you can think of that are around you. Not that what are their numbers equaling or whatever, from their name or their birthday, but did you say that? Is that what did I understand?
Yes.
Did I hear you correctly?
Yes. If someone picks a category, I'll say to them, pick a category: health, finances, relationships, the past, the future, the present, work, love, whatever you want, whatever's on your mind. Just tell me what the category is. And they'll say relationship, or family, or finances, or work. And then I say, okay, give me the first 3 single-digit numbers that pop into your head, and I'll tell you what's going on. Because, in the Old Testament, in the beginning was the Word, but the Word was actually a vibrational frequency. So when you have a feeling, or a thought, or an emotion, or an idea, and you give me the numbers that pop into your head, those numbers represent the frequency of that thought, emotion, feeling, or idea. You want to try this?
Yeah, I would love to.
Okay, so pick a category: health, finances, family, work, relationships, the future, whatever you want, whatever on your mind.
Career.
Okay, what's your month and day of birth?
My month is August 1st.
You come for a final exam. You got low back pain?
Lately, I usually have it's a neck issue, but lately it's funny you bring that up because I have been doing some research. It's funny. It's not so funny, is it now? Because this is where you got, I'm being very honest, everybody. I was just recently looking up, I was having pain where I normally have not, it was middle back pain, which I've never, ever even used those words to look up back. Yeah, middle. I was having some middle. Does that make sense? Middle?
Yes, yeah, and I'll answer that in a minute. Now, give me the first 3 single-digit numbers that come into your head.
257.
Okay, and this is for career. Now, your month and day of birth reduces to the number 9. This indicates that you love to be on stage. Being on a radio is perfect for you. You get along with everybody, the wealthy, the poor, the intelligent, the illiterate. You love long-distance travel. But you've come to take a final exam in this lifetime, which is not to be attached to anything. What that means is you can savor it. You can be married for 100 years. But at some point, it's going to come to an end. For the most part, for you, life is like an ice cream cone on a 110-degree day. You're going to get a lick or two, and then it's going to melt. Don't worry about it. Throw it away, because something else is going to come along that's even better. Maybe a green drink. Wheatgrass. Well, I don't know. I think I'd rather have the ice cream cone. But, metaphorically, it's better for you. So the numbers that you've given me for career, 2, 5, and 7. 2 is about partnership. 5 deals with changes, transitions, new opportunities. 7 deals with having the faith and the patience to let go, make this transition. 2 and 5 make 7, and 7 more make 14, and 1 and 4 make 5. So this is an issue about change. There's opportunities coming for you that involve change of some type, but you need to have a solid foundation so that you have the confidence in yourself, not look over your shoulder, and be able to move forward.
Makes sense. Extremely. Extremely, it makes. Well, you're right on. Absolutely right on. Well, thank yourself. I mean,
thank you very much.
Yeah, that was, Michael, we're going to take a quick commercial on this note because this is a good time, and we'll be right back. It's a short commercial from our sponsor, psychicaccess.com. So hold on, everybody. We'll be right back.
A new era in psychic services has begun. Psychicaccess.com. You can connect with our psychic advisors by telephone or chat 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All of our psychic advisors are interviewed, fully verified, and accuracy tested, assuring you quality service. We're living in some very troubled times right now. More and more, the world's problems are affecting us on a personal level. You don't have to deal with this alone. Our highly accurate psychics, caring advisors, and talented mediums can help with situations you are currently experiencing and can let you know what the future may hold for you. All new customers get a free 6-minute reading. All you have to do is register. Why not visit us now and get a free reading at psychicaccess.com.
Okay, we're back with Michael. Michael, I'm just giddy with what you just did with me, and you did agree, or you're agreeing to, because there's 3 other co-hosts on this show, that if you wouldn't mind, it's good examples.
It would be my pleasure. So who's up next?
Brenda, how about you?
Okay. What information do you need?
Just your month and day of birth.
Just the month and the day?
That's
12/24.
12/24?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I find sometimes you get clusters. So you're also a 9. And you're a bit of a perfectionist. And where that's coming from was some underlying feelings of inadequacy that nobody really knows about. But once you get a handle on that, then you're really a visionary. You're very intelligent. Let go of that perfectionism where you want to make sure everything is all right, because what happens is you've given yourself what I call a little sticky note. On the end of your first name, Brenda, is the letter A. Whenever the letter A shows up as the last letter of a name, first name, middle name, last name, it always brings, oh, shoot, into someone's life when they don't trust their intuition, okay, about taking on too much responsibility. The other thing I can tell you is that the E is the first vowel, but not the first letter, is that when you were dating, I don't know if you still are or not, but when you were dating, before you would allow physical intimacy, you would make your partners perform what I call the 12 feats of Hercules. They needed to prove that they were worthy of being with you and that it wasn't just, a sexual thing. They had to respect you, so they had to pass all your tests. You too, I'll ask you, do you have any low back pain?
No, not really, no.
Okay, then really. You need to let go of control. Instead of carrying people, you try and control things to make sure everything is okay.
That's true. I'm a bit of a control freak. That is for sure.
Okay, but remember, it's not your movie. Even though right now you're sitting in the studio. No. Not your movie. Even if you're right 99.9999999, it's not 100. You don't know what this person is supposed to be doing. So instead of giving advice, which is usually rejected, even though the advice is right, what you want to do is think of 3 or 4 really good questions that are going to lead them to their own revelation or their own epiphany, in which case they will thank you instead of telling you to butt out. Stop telling me what to do.
That sounds like my daughter and I now.
Okay. Now, would you like to pick a category? Family, health, relationships, work, anything that pops into your mind.
Work is, because a Capricorn's always, that's the first thing ever in our lives. I mean, I hate to say that, but work.
Okay, so first 3 single digits that come into your head. Single-digit numbers.
1, 7, and 5.
175. Okay, so the reason you need to be in control is because you're afraid that you're not going to get the credit you think you deserve for being as smart as you are. And so you get a little antsy sometimes. The solution is just to be a little bit more flexible here. 1 and 7 make 8, and 5 more make 13. 1 and 3 make 4. So you need to slow down and focus on your details, your foundation, and if so, then that could lead you into becoming an innovative visionary, but you've got to be a little bit more patient. You get to be a little too quick. You don't want people looking too close.
Very, very interesting.
Okay.
That's excellent. That's accurate. To a point. To a point.
Okay.
No. Thank you.
Next.
Okay.
Unless you have any other
that's the control
questions.
freak stuff.
Yeah, it is. Well, I have to. There has to be some sort of mystery still left. So.
Well, there is, because to be perfectly honest, I have no memory. After I do this, unless I write it down, I have no memory of what comes out of my mouth.
Yeah, I find that with me when I do readings, which I think is a good thing.
Well, yeah. Otherwise, I would be crazy.
Yeah.
Now I'm just insane.
People in the chat room are just loving this.
I'd rather be insane than out of sane.
People are loving this, Michael. Okay, Michael, we have Bobby. Bobby, could you? This is Michael.
Me.
Hi, Bobby is. Are we doing with male or female?
It's a man.
I'm a man.
So is it Robert as opposed to Bobby?
What's that? Actually, it's Robert. It's actually Robert to the police and my mother.
All right. So let me ask you a question. Born by Bobby.
Yes, sir.
Did you have difficulty at a early age speaking? Did you stutter or have any speech difficulties?
No, sir. Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. And that's Bobby, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Bobby comes out to be like a 19-1. If things are going your way, you're like Mother Teresa. And if they're not, you're like Attila the Hun. Okay? You take no prisoners. You're a lot better off if you go back to Robert. Robert is a 33, master number, master teacher, master healer, capable of sending energy over long distances, but the danger is becoming a master martyr, taking on everything for everybody else. In both names, Bobby and Robert, O is the first vowel, which can indicate if you have health issues. It could be in the stomach, intestinal, or digestive area because you have a hard time letting go of things. With Bobby, the Y on the end of your name makes you overly analytical. Sometimes you miss opportunities because you're thinking too much. Robert is a much more powerful number, a natural mentor, counselor, advisor. Bobby has to have things his way. So you may just want to consider this. And as long as we're talking about names, when people go to court and legally change their name other than for marriage, the date the court approves the name change becomes their new birthday. So we don't need to go for plastic surgery. We just need to change our name. It's a lot cheaper, and you get much younger. The reason for this is you're choosing to be reborn. Now, this is not something that's done lightly, because if you change your name, it's been my experience that many of the big major challenges in your birth name will come over into your new name because you haven't resolved them. And it's very, very rare that a new name is going to do you better than the name you chose at the soul level to work through. For people that don't resonate to their name, my feeling is there was an argument between the parents and one of them won, and they won with a name that you did not tell them to call you, so you don't resonate to it.
Right.
And as long as we're on families, then we get to adoption. Adoption is not abandonment. It was the adoptee owed the birth family, or they owed him, and the fact that they were born canceled that debt, and then they go on to the family they need to be with to do what they came here to do. More bizarre ideas.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, so I'll call you Robert, even though everybody calls you Bobby.
Okay.
Robert, pick a category. As I said, it could be health, finances, work, relationships, the future, money, whatever's on your mind.
And career, or I guess it kind of has to do with future too, but career, absolutely.
Okay, give me the first 3 single-digit numbers to come into your head.
384.
Okay, so for you, 3 is about, and 3 makes up with Robert. That's part of your first name. Again, you would be great on the radio, advising, counseling, working with people. But the 3 is, if you're going to be a success, you've got to let go of whatever that residue of feeling inadequate or not good enough. And then once you release that, the 8 says you can use your wisdom, your knowledge, and your expertise to help other people build a foundation after you pay attention to your own. 3 and 8 make 11, and 4 make 15. 1 and 5 make 6. We're right back to your first name again. Mentoring, counseling, advising, working with other people, providing services to them. But it really calls for emotional intimacy. Don't be afraid to speak your truth. Don't be afraid to be in your power. That means being a leader, not the boss. It's a leader. Leader has a vision, gets other people excited about that vision, then they pick it up, and then you're free to go create something else. I forgot to ask you, what was your month and day of birth?
My mother's day of birth?
Your month and day of birth.
Month and day of birth, sorry. It's December, so 12 and 3.
Okay, well, there's 15-6, same number that came up for the 3 numbers you just gave me for your career. So you are here, 5, to be a messenger, 1, to do things differently, be comfortable with yourself, and keep moving forward. But the 6 sometimes makes you a bit of a martyr, a bit of a perfectionist. You take on too much responsibility. You want to see everybody be okay. Not your movie. You're the messenger. Deliver the message and move on. It's like you work for the post office. Your job is to deliver the mail. But one day you see this letter and it says, if you don't respond in the next 24 hours, you're going to jail. Oh my God, I got to help these people out. So instead of delivering the mail, you wait for these people to come home all day, and you give them the letter, and they go eat dinner, they watch TV, they respond, you take it, it's late at night, and you go home thinking you've done a great thing. But somebody down the line you were supposed to deliver mail to was waiting for their insulin, and they didn't get it because you were busy with somebody else's movie. How many letters have they gotten before this? Did they choose to ignore it? No, not your movie. You drop it in the mailbox and move on. This person that needed the insulin didn't get it. So just deliver the message. Don't grab them by the throat to make sure they understand. Let it go. Let it go. Okay?
Very good. Yes, sir. Thank you so very much.
Am I being too heavy?
I got the way I always see things a little bit, or get things a little bit different than left field, but I got what they were saying to Bobby. I don't know what you thought, Bobby, but the movie, that term, the movie came out for you quite a bit. Bobby is an actor. Anyway, that's interesting. And Brenda. Well, we have Steve.
Okay, well, Steve, how you doing?
I'm well, thank you.
All right. Oh, I detect a bit of an accent.
Yes, British, but I live in the States.
Oh, well, we all have to bear our burdens, don't we? Okay. What's your birthday, Steve?
It's January the 13th.
Okay, so that makes 14. We got a couple things going on here. First of all, the S as the first letter in your name says you're seldom satisfied. You're always trying to make things better. The ST, 1 and 2 is 3, 5, 8, 2. You know what everybody else wants. It just agitates you sometimes. They don't know what you want, but you've got to be a better communicator. Your month and day of birth, which comes out to be 14, we have what are called karmic numbers, 13, 14, 16, 19. They have special energy. With the 14, it's about excess. So some is good, more is better. If 1 jelly bean's good, 2 jelly beans are better. Give me the bag. Give me that truckload. Dump it over here. So You can either be overly rigid, and somebody has to put liniment on your back to get out of bed in the morning, or overly flexible, where you're bending over backwards for everybody until you bang your head on the sidewalk and go, enough of that. For you, it's all about learning to be in the moment. It's 14, so if you take the time to build your foundation, then the number 1 will give you that confidence, 5, to deal with the change. Because basically, every 12 to 18 months, you're really ready for something new. You get
Very
bored
true.
in a hurry.
18 months, absolutely.
Okay? You're ready to roll. And basically, you are just a messenger above all else. So all you need to do is run through the streets, giving the message, and that gives you the opportunity to have your adventures and take your trips and explore. That's what you like. You like traveling. You like change. You like adventures. You like new things. Pick a category. I don't know if you heard them before. It could be health. It could be finances. It could be family. It could be work, relationship, the past, the future, whatever you want. You just pick a category.
I would say future career, please.
Okay. Give me your year of birth. What year were you born?
1975.
1975. Okay. Your career is always going to involve something being on stage, whether it's teaching people, instructing people, answering questions, being of assistance. You're highly intuitive. This is your destiny number. It's your month, day, and year of birth reduced to a single digit. It's number 9. So with your 5, where it's hard for you to sit still, the 9 has a thirst for long-distance travel. Could be good with electrical or electronic things. Could be a natural actor. But your destiny is just keep moving. Just keep moving. And you will have opportunities to make a difference wherever it is that you go, as long as you trust your intuition and you let go of control and stop trying to make it the way you think it should be and observe the way it is, and then see how you can work with it or improve it in small increments. And then you can move on. But communication is vital, because you have to have people feel as passionate about it as you do, so they'll take it over and then you can move on. All right?
Okay. Absolutely wonderful.
Now,
thank you.
Fantastic.
Let's do did we do the 3 single-digit numbers yet?
No, we didn't.
We have about 2 minutes left. Do you think we can do that, Michael? 2 minutes?
Well, you can call me off the air. Yeah, give me numbers real quick. Pick a category, give me numbers.
792.
792, what's the category? Whatever
Finances.
It is, okay? Whatever's going on, we call those numbers up. Let go of control. Don't be afraid to move on. Trust your intuition, and let go of whatever it is you're afraid to let go of. The universe cannot dump opportunities in abundance into our arms if our arms are full of dirty laundry. Okay. Let it go. Open up.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was fantastic, Michael. We only have about 2 minutes left, and I wanted to ask you, I am going to, we have your website and everything, but is there anything else that you'd like to convey to people, except the fact that we talked about this one book that actually they too as well could, what you just went through with us,
right.
Understand?
Let me run through a couple things. The other book is called Decoding Behavior for Numerology is one. The other is Numerology for Healing. It takes 200 illnesses and diseases, turns them into a string of numbers, and then those numbers describe the behavior that's brought it into your life, and I've created a matrix that will then show you how to follow proactive instead of reactive behaviors to help get rid of this health issue or this injury or whatever else you've got. The other thing I would like to tell people is look at life like a restaurant. Order what you like and expect it to arrive. When we go to a restaurant and place our order, we never, ever, ever doubt that what we ordered is coming out. And, for example, if we ordered a well-done burger and we get a rare, then we just send it back. And we wait a little bit more. That's all life is about. You can study with all your teachers, read all your books, take all your workshops. Bottom line, have the courage to do what you love and order from the universe what you desire and expect it to arrive. That's it.
Well, you know, I think you are absolutely fascinating, and everybody in the chat room is fascinated by this because I know that it was a difficult topic with the cosmic, you know, with the cosmic numerology, because it's different from the classic what you're doing, and we do have on our guest page all the books that you're speaking about. Anybody's interested, they can purchase a book through Amazon to these books, and also your website. I have your website up, which I'll say it again. If you want to learn more about Michael and his services, and visit his web page or his website at www.awakener. That's AWAKENER.com, and also that is also listed on your guest page. So anybody would like to do that, they just click that on there. Michael, I really appreciate you joining us. It was wonderful. I learned a lot. What you're doing, which I had no idea really what the cosmic numerology was.
I would actually love to come back. If you've got a chat room, I do live calls. I do this, as you can see, on the fly, and would love sometime in the future to come back and answer questions for your listeners.
Well, that's a good possibility. I'll talk to you more about that another time. That would be great, because what you do is real different from anything else. The numerology, and also because it deals with reincarnation and karmic lessons and all that is fascinating. And I really appreciate you being here with us and going through with all of our co-hosts. That was fun. Thank you so much.
Oh, my privilege, my honor. Thank you all.
And stay away from those big snails over in Florida.
We'll get a big fork. Okay.
No. Well, good night, Michael, and have a great rest of your evening in your beautiful beach community there.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Thanks
much.
a lot, Michael. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Everyone.
Hello, my name is Res Miranda. If you're having relationship, career, or life issues, I'm inviting you to experience what it's like to have access to professional, highly accurate psychics and spiritual advisors you can trust to care and help you. Register now to get your free 6-minute reading by telephone or chat. Get answers. Get access. Psychic access, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. PsychicAccess.com.
And then I left because I was getting to a point where I was doing things that he said numerologists don't do. The things I was doing with numbers and the information I was getting from it. So I left them. And that was probably about 1994, and since then, I really describe myself as a number disguised as a human being, because I get amazing information out of numbers. Somebody can pick a category. They can pick health, finances, relationships, family, work. Really doesn't make a difference what they pick. And then if they give me the first 3 single-digit numbers that come into their head, I can tell them what's going on in their life. That's what the numbers can do, because they measure the vibrational frequencies of thoughts and feelings and emotions. So I could do that.
Okay, well, Michael, let me ask you something. You just said something interesting, if I heard you correct. For what I just heard, my understanding was that what you just said was somebody could just get numbers or something that are coming into their heads, not that has to do anything to do with. This is what you're. I was going to ask you actually before we were just talking. I was going to ask you, and here I'm going to ask you, what is cosmic numerology?
Okay, everything in the cosmos vibrates. If it vibrates, it can be measured with numerology, which uses letters and numbers, which are the same symbols that we use to measure things. So cosmic numerology is 4 pieces. The first is classical numerology, as developed by Pythagoras here in the West. The second piece is the quantum theory, which deals with potential, what could be, what might be, And in spirituality and religion, that's referred to as free will, not potential. And in numerology, every number has a challenge. Every challenge has a solution chosen by you at the soul level. That's a story I can tell. It takes about 7 minutes. And the third piece is gematria, which is an ancient Kabbalistic art where you take words, passages, phrases, you turn them into a string of numbers, and those numbers will then tell you what's going on. And I've just shortened that down to give me a category and the first 3 numbers you're thinking of, and I can tell you what's going on in your life. The last piece deals with reincarnation, in that if you imagine the yin-yang symbol in between lifetimes, we do this review with God, with spirit, and with the yin-yang. We're balanced between our celestial and earthly self, ego and soul. And in that state, having looked at what we've accomplished or avoided or screwed up, and knowing that we're coming to a new age, a new 26,000-year cycle, a new turn around the wheel, we then pick the letters of a name to help us work through that which we haven't worked through in the last 26,000 years. We're trying to clean everything up. So for a lot of people, this can be a very intense life if they don't understand that they've already provided a solution for everything. First name is how we behave at work. Middle name is relationship. If you have no middle name, then you've come to learn to deal with your emotions. So whether you're Albanian or Thai or Latino, these are cultures with no middle names. And the people can either be very intense or very flat, very, very inward, like an Asian. And that's a gross generalization, by the way. And that doesn't apply across the board. And they've come to learn to deal with their emotions. The vowels, that's what your soul wants. The consonants, that's your personality.
California, we have it made. We don't have all those big bug things going on. We have warm weather, but we don't have those bugs going on here. Thank goodness.
It's another government plot.
It's another plot. Well, you've worked. I was talking. I know that we were having a time getting you a little bit, but here you are. But I was just about to go through that you became how this. I was going to ask you something else, but I thought I might as well go into this. That you became aware. Since you've been in 1985 while working in you're in the aerospace industry, correct?
Right. I left teaching because I wasn't making any money. Right. I said, where can I make some money? And at the time, it was aerospace. So I went there. My two office mates quit.
Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so, go on, Michael. I'm sorry. Don't let me interrupt you. Ignore me.
My two office mates quit. Young woman came in. We started talking. She said she was seeing a numerologist. I asked her what it was. She said, well, this guy takes the letters of your name, the numbers of your birthday, tells you all about yourself. I said, yeah, right. But 2 weeks later, I was really stressed out. And so I said, okay, give me his name and number. And she did. And he blew my socks off. And I apprenticed to him for 8 years.
Hi, Michael. Are you there?
Hi.
Hi, Michael. How are you?
I'm doing fine. You know what? I just left the house and I walked down to the beach, and I didn't look at my calendar to see that I was on the air tonight. I remember the show, and I'm here, and I'm ready, but I got to get off of the beach to get away from this wind.
No, I got it. I live down at the beach too, and so you're on the beach walking, right?
No, I was sitting right by the ocean. The water is so warm. I'm in South Florida, down in Hollywood.
Oh, we were just talking about Florida, and in fact, because I live down at the East Coast. I mean, I live down at the West Coast on the beach in San Diego. So I was just talking about you guys have, from what I understand, you've had a overrun of huge snails. Is that right?
Well, I haven't seen any up here, but I read about it online. That they were like the size of rats. You know?
Yeah. It's not. Are they for escargot?
I would think there wouldn't be much danger of being eaten by them since they don't move very fast.
That's okay.
But it Reminds me of The Blob, the old movie from the 50s.
Yeah, I kind of thought or some type of warfare with those snails. I don't know what to think of that, but that in California.